Recording.
Oh boy. That's increasingly my greeting is boy. That doesn't look too bad. I feel like shit though. I didn't sleep well at all last night. Possibly due to the aforementioned back fuck upage. Which isn't as bad as it was, so that's good. But yeah, I was supposed to take a bit of a detour and meet up with somebody today, and I just said, no, do you know what? I just want to fucking get the. No, not happening. I just want to get the fuck out of here today. On account of how I am acting like a big flaky flake. And this hotel, while decent, and with a decent car park, and with all that sort of shit going on, was one of those, oh, do you like breakfast, do you? Well, do you have 20 quid? I'm like, I do, but not for you. So, I don't know if I'm able to go this way. I'm gonna plead touristy ignorance. Excuse me, this is a one-way street. Yeah, nice little town. Decent little restaurants and decent place to walk around. I went for a decent walk yesterday, just so I don't seize up completely. And yeah, decent. Bit of fresh air will do me good. Oh, I guess I'm back in France. Hence the here's how to drive in France signs. Yeah, this is one of those weird towns that's partially in France and partially in Belgium, and I'm staying on the Belgian side. And I booked my ferry for later on this week, so that'll be that. And maybe that's what has me kind of in a humour today, because not because I'm like, oh no, I want to stay up more, but more just because like, okay, there's an end date on the kind of the trip, so I'm just kind of, my body's going to start falling apart now, because I'm not just kind of trying to indefinitely stay good, if that makes sense. You know, if you have you can fool your body into thinking that the trip is already over and it's time to fucking go sleepy boys. So, or trying to not go sleepy boys was the case with me last night. But yeah, it's plain sailing, so to speak, from here. I'm kind of trying to make up places to go and etc. between now and later on this week, because like, again, I'm in a spot where if I wanted to make the ferry today, I probably could have, but I have a few days left, so I'm gonna just take it handy, go at things, stay off of motorways today, just cause. Yeah, just take it a little bit easy until I get home and figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do when I get home. Maybe find a job, maybe. It's been on my mind, so I wanted to say a little bit about this bike, because I know it's not its first trip even. This is the bike I had in Norway last year, and so it was grand in Norway, and it's just been out it's about to be out for what, 3.5 weeks, and not a fucking bother on it. Like, you know, no issues whatsoever. You know, even after I fucked it on the ground a couple of days ago, it's hasn't skipped a beat. Absolutely fucking class business. But you know, it's a BMW, and once you know it's not a lemon, it's probably going to be grand. And so this thing has been very well run in, and it is not a lemon. so it's good. For my sort of style of trip and etc. and the way I pack, I've redone the luggage on this bike during the trip. I had the opportunity to reconfigure shit a little bit, and I did. And I got the Kriega US40, which is sitting behind me now, and that's class. That covers like everything I kind of need, and then the stuff in the top box is sort of the essentials, like laptop and passport and bits and bobs and all that sort of stuff. The stuff in the two side panniers I haven't really touched in a good while. Like there's a chain, which if I'm brutally honest, I could probably just not bother with. Just spares and parts and etc. And I have a toolbox and etc. like that. So one thing I do take away from this trip in terms of bike setup and bike configuration is that I don't need this much luggage space. I mean, I kind of knew that already. It's nice to have it. If I was camping, I would need it. If I was bringing, all my other stuff. But like with the two side boxes and top box and the pack on the back seat, it's more than enough. So that set me to thinking, of course, is that is this the ideal touring bike for my purposes? Because I always go back to like the R1200 RS I used to have, which I call it out as the one bike that I always miss, and like could this trip have been done just as comfortably on the RS? I'm like, yeah, probably. And I think about it in those terms of like, if I was going to go down to one bike, like if I was to go to only have one bike, and because at the moment I do have this, and I have this Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS, which is good for acting the bollocks. Is there a bike that's good for acting the bollocks and for these kind of trips and stuff? And yeah, maybe. I always thought of it in terms of like, I need the luggage space that the GS gives for big long trips, but like this has been a big fucking long trip, like the better part of a month, and I didn't need all of the luggage space. If I had a pillion, yeah, probably, but like if I'm just on my own, I don't need a massive amount of gear. So something to think about. I have been sort of half thinking about going to one bike, just because. And yeah, the RS would be top of mind if such a thing exists anymore. I know they're not as popular a bike as they used to be. There's the XR, if I'm staying BMW, and there's a number of other options in the sports touring category, where we have the touring and also the sports. So I don't know, maybe not even this year, but the way it is with bikes, always changing. But like, as far as, am I happy with the GS? Yeah, fucking unbelievable bike for touring around. Like, there's no fault in it for what it is. For what it is. The only thing I would say is it's very big. It's too big. It's too. And by that I mean physically big and heavy. I know it's all the same once you get it going. But like, if you don't need this big of a bike, then why do you have it, kind of thing. So I don't know. There's probably smaller bikes I'd be just as happy on. And by that I mean physically smaller and maybe a bit lighter. And that's a big market at the moment. There's like touring bikes or adventure bikes that are smaller physically than this bike. But these are idle thoughts. Just be happy with what you have, you big prick. And I am pretty happy with what I have. Glass bike and a full tank of petrol and a day of sitting behind this lorry ahead of me. Cannot wait. That's better. great big fuck off roads with tractors and villages and shit. Oh yeah. And Mickey D's. Fucking random Mickey D's. I love it. French people love Mickey D's. That's my observation for today. The amount of the fucking things. I wonder there's so many Mickey D's here because French people don't have chippers. You know, like every town has a chipper, or sometimes several chippers. I wonder if every town has a Mickey D's here instead. That'd be pretty rough. You'd have to go without chips, look. Chips. Ah, yes. It's raining finally. Get on to me, you fucking delicious wet nonsense. Oh yeah. Oh, it'll actually be my first time, hopefully, arriving at a place that I'm going to not absolutely sweating like a maniac, like a sex pest. Lovely and cool, still 70 degrees. And yeah, in case I haven't said it enough times, the big game changer for me, one thing I would grant to everyone who does bikes when I become philosopher king of bikes is good wet weather gear. And ideally good wet weather gear that also works in the dry, so you don't have to stop and put fucking clammy plastic all over yourself. So I've had the Ruka gear now for a couple of years and it's fucking class. You just keep going and don't get wet. And then if it gets proper warm, it's less capable in the proper warm, but it's got enough vents that, you know, you're not going to die in the proper warm. Yeah, so it means that when it's warm and then you run into a bit of rain like I just did, it's actually class, like genuinely, like that's great. Cool down a bit, like there's no question of cool down a bit and also get fucking sopping wet. It doesn't happen, it's all good. Once you get that sorted out, life gets considerably easier. No. I take it all back. Rain is considerably less crack than I thought it was. Ow. Ow. Don't like it. Ow. Oh, that's sideways, right there. It's raining sideways. Negative crack. Right. Yay! I hate the rain now. Yeah, there was a little more rain than I really, hoping for. But anyway, I think I'm mostly out of it. And we're about to get to the place. So yeah, that's my boring short bit for today. Deal with it. Oh, what are you doing? Get off the road. Yeah, and a few days left, but for the most part it's just kind of dealing with the last couple of days of trip stuff and heading towards home for realsies this time. Alright, that to do is everyone seems to be out driving their tractors today, so I'll leave is there. Hello.